Whenever summer comes along, you need a good long list of enjoyable reads to look forward to. Or maybe, like me, you live in the Southern Hemisphere and have just pulled out the woolens for winter. But a similar list might also come in handy if you're planning to curl up on the lounge with a cup of hot chocolate. Well, this is our list. It's a mixture of books, new and old, especially recommended for teens and young adults. And as well as being definitely worth reading, they're also a lot of fun. The Apothecary by Maile Meloy. If you enjoyed Harry Potter, you just might like this historical fantasy adventure mystery. This book has it all. It's set in London in 1952, where two young teenagers find themselves embroiled in a dangerous international spy network, trying to prevent an evil government from testing nuclear weapons on innocent people. Magic gets involved when they discover the Apothecary'S Manual, which they have to use to try to create potions which could help to save the world. The Brother Band Chronicles by John Flanagan. This new series by the author of The Ranger's Apprentice has gone straight to my favourite shelf. It's historical action-adventure, and here I'm recommending it particularly for young teen boys, but good readers who are younger, right up to adults, will also find it entertaining. It's one of those stories that makes everything it describes into entertainment. It has brilliant characters, a highly convincing war-prone world, and an unrelenting sense of humour. The good news is that the second book has just been released, and it's even better than the first. And the third book is out later this year. Second Fiddle by Roseanne Parry. This historical fiction is set not so long ago in 1990, just after the fall of the Berlin Wall in Germany. It's about a group of friends who happen to see the attempted murder of a Russian soldier, and young as they are, barely 13, they take it upon themselves to get him to safety. But far from being a sombre war story, this book is about the adventure of smuggling the soldier to Paris, in the guise of travelling with their teacher to participate in a musical concert. My only warning is that you'll probably be tempted to read the whole thing in one sitting. Incarceron by Catherine Fisher. This is a series from a couple of years back, but in case you missed it, it's highly original fantasy and a fantastic summer read. Incarceron is a futuristic prison. It was created to house all the problems of the world, sealing them off from view. Things like crime, poverty, and illness. It's a vast world, and those inside it don't actually know they're being held prisoner. Finn is a 17-year-old boy who lives inside, and he starts to have the strange idea that there is a world outside and that he's been there before. Once you start this story, you'll need to read right through to the end of the sequel to see what happens, and it is brilliant. The Next Crown Jewel by Sherwood Smith. This is one of my all-time favourites. The only way I can describe it is like an entertaining combination of Austen and Lord of the Rings. How does that work? Well, actually, it's two books in one. The first book is like a Lord of the Rings journey, where a kingdom under the rule of a brother and sister has been attacked, and they're on the run from an evil pursuer. There's medieval-style chases and battles and fortresses, and for most of this book, we don't know too much about who the characters actually are. Book 2 brings these battles into a court setting, where the characters must engage in political combat. The contests of wit and character are brilliant. You will not want this story to end. A Stranger to Command by Sherwood Smith. So this is the prequel to Crown Jewel, but if you're planning to read the former, this one should come afterwards, because it gives away a crucial mystery about one of the main characters. If you're not planning to read Crown Jewel, you should read this one anyway, because it's not a coming-of-age story, but a coming-to-greatness story. It's about a teenage boy who is sent to a foreign military command school. It has a similar feel to Flanagan's Brother Band Chronicles, but this one's for slightly older readers. There's training and battles and more contests of wit and character. But the bottom line is that the main character is just such a great guy. Boys want to be him, girls want to marry him. It's great fun. Frederica by Georgette Heyer. For teenage girls who appreciate Austen, some of Georgette Heyer's Regency romance is excellent for light summer reading. Frederica is a superb heroine. She has the humour, sensitivity, common sense and understated charm of a well-rounded, independent young woman. She's no Bella Swan, that's for sure. This book is easy to eat up in one sitting, but readers will find the characters quite inspiring too. And if you're interested in which of Heyer's other romances we recommend for teenage girls, you can look them up on the Good Reading Guide. The Divergent series by Veronica Roth. Changing genres completely, this new dystopian series for young adults by Veronica Roth has just risen in my estimation with the release of the second book last month, Insurgent. While both books are highly entertaining and addictive with plenty of action and interesting characters, they introduce some pretty complex themes, and I recommend reading their full reviews on the Good Reading Guide. If you do start with book 1, make sure you continue all the way through to book 2, where the heroine really starts to pick up her game. A Waltz for Matilda by Jackie French. This is a wonderful young adult read that will take you to a time and place you've probably never seen before. Rich characters accompany you into a beautifully evoked historical setting as you live the life of a young pioneer who has to battle harsh weather, a lack of money and resources, antagonistic neighbours, and a somewhat reckless young man to ensure that her homestead survives. It's pure enjoyment that might also build up your can-do attitude. The Technologist by Matthew Pearl. For young adults with some time on their hands, particularly those with an interest in science and chemistry, Pearl's latest book builds into rather explosive historical fiction, set in Boston at the tail end of the Industrial Revolution. It's a little slower to start, but the action picks up, and the characters certainly keep you guessing. Next are a few classics that are wonderful stories for older teens and young adults to get completely lost in over the summer. They're good, long books to keep you going, but most importantly, they're entertaining all the way through. And if you're spending time in the car, or if you like listening to something while you go for a walk, they're all excellent on audio as well. Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens. This is my favourite Dickens, and I'm always surprised how few young adults have read it. It's a true Dickens with several interwoven stories, all of them are fascinating. A complicated inheritance, an arranged marriage, swindlers from high society and low, some of the best one-liners you'll hear in the English language. Dickens' characters teach you about the full scope of human nature, so while you're having fun, you can also grow in understanding towards your fellow human beings. If you're going for the audio version, select the one read by Simon Vance. He is a master storyteller. The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. This is one book that is impossible to put down. It's a mystery that gradually builds around a wonderful set of characters. This is my favourite by Wilkie Collins, the father of detective and suspense, because as well as having some very likeable characters, the mystery will keep you on the edge of your seat. And Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. Du Maurier is famous for her dark, spooky atmospheres, so this one might be best to leave for a rainy day. On the other hand, this is a little different to some of her other stories because it has an excellent heroine and a very interesting hero. So although it starts rather dark and mysterious, we somehow feel comforted by the presence of these two. The rich excitement that du Maurier stirs won't leave you even after the story ends. It's great holiday reading. So this is our selection of new and old favourites that make highly entertaining holiday reading. Check out these and more at goodreadingguide.com.